Welcome into this episode of Coach's Corner. Jordan Woodruff with you, and good to have you along. And today we're joined by Athletic Director Joe Turner, and this is going to be our year in review as we are done with school, and now you have a little time to go in retrospect and see what you achieved, look at what you want to achieve maybe for the future. And Coach, I'm always going to call you Coach, even though you're the AD. That's what you always were, and what you always will be from my point of view. But what was your assessment of this overall year?
Overall, it was a great year. I mean, we always want to strive to get better and have more involvement as far as get our numbers up, increase numbers, involvement in sports, But overall, it was a solid year. We had several sports who had state qualifiers and state champions even, So it was a great year. When it was all said and done, the kids, the seniors, going on, hopefully, like I told our coaches, we have an awesome responsibility of teaching young men and young women, letting them grow up to be productive citizens of the society. So that's ultimately that's your main goal, because a lot of them, some will go to the next level, and some won't, but hopefully they'll be productive.
No, and that's the thing about sports is it's going to give you the discipline, and you guys have your little wildcat way that you do, and that instills things that's going to be able to be used the rest of your life. Yes, in a big way. And let's go kind of in reverse, and we're talking so many sports, we may miss one, but I kind of want to try to get through. And we went through kind of a semester in review in December, so we kind of got a lot of those winter sports and stuff, but want to go through everything if we can, and we'll start off kind of going backtrack. And last week was kind of the last hurrah last weekend with the state track.
Yes, sir. We had several couple senior athletes who participated in the state track meet at Western Heights. They did well, but 6A track is pretty tough. It's a tough road to hoe, and they did well. And I know the year before we were a lot better. We lost some key seniors last year, but we got some good young ones, the freshman class. We talked about the freshman class before, that they are very, very athletic, and I know we put a lot of stock in them, and but I know Coach Rowland, he puts a lot of stock in those guys because it's a big class, and for most part, there's 6 freshmen starting on Friday night, so that kind of tells you right there. 6 freshmen. And I told Coach Rowland, I said, Coach, I coached Class A and 2A football for about 26 years, and I never started 6 freshmen on Friday night. So
usually they're just trying to figure out how to get the water bottles out there correctly in a small class, right? I mean, that's because they have that job. But so you got that with track, and track also it's one of those, I feel like, you take it seriously when they're out there, but it's kind of one of those supplemental sports that a lot of our other athletes that do their fall and their winter sports, that's what they do, is track to stay competitive.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I know as a football coach, if your kids aren't in baseball or golf or anything, you definitely want them in track, try to get them faster.
Yeah. And, like I said, kind of try to work our way back a little bit. Now I'll lead the next one be golf. It was an adventure, I think, for coaches with golf, with the rain and everything else we had during that time. And we would have loved to have more state qualifiers, of course, but we think that's coming.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The boys, like I said, once again, they were overall a young group, good young talent there, which I think next year they may even qualify as a team next year. But anyhow, we had 3 girls state qualifiers, it was a very productive year, and they did a real good job. Coach Osler and Coach Williams did a great job.
Yeah, and the bearded coaches.
Yes, it's true.
As we like to say. So those guys, they're coming when you see them for sure.
Yes, sir.
And then I'll go baseball. Naturally, I know Coach Middlebrook say we wanted more, but they were competitive, and even in the regional were competitive. And the thing about that group, yes, they graduated a few seniors, but man, they got a good core of juniors and some younger kids that are coming up.
Exactly. I know he this will be his 4th year upcoming, and so he's had those juniors for all 3 years he's been here. So they're very, once again, they're a talented baseball group, really good. And like you said, they really, I know the wins may not been there, but I told him, I said, hey, it's like night and day from last year. You're more competitive. You're practically in every ball game.
Yeah.
Beat
some good teams this year too.
It may be that one bad inning, or kind of like the Bixby. We're right there. Bixby and regionals, and we have one bad inning right there, and then things
untimely error or two, and all of a sudden it opens the game up.
Right, and against good teams you can't afford errors. So, but yeah, I know he's looking forward. He's out recruiting some assistant coaches coming in, and he's got a couple good young ones coming on board, hopefully. So that's going to be a bonus and a plus. But yeah, it's I think it's 2026 looks like a good baseball season for us.
It does. And soccer now, that one. Boys, best season they've had in a very long time, and just devastating the way the chips fell at the end, because it looked like they were in until they weren't. And of course, soccer has only 4 teams out of the 8 in those districts make the playoffs, and the boys were virtually in a tiebreaker and got left out.
Yes, they were. They were in a tiebreaker with Piedmont and Enid, and of course they got left out, and Piedmont got in. So, once again, it's a good core returning down. They lose a few good seniors, of course, like every sport does. But he has Coach Steigen has really good numbers out. I mean, he has a lot of kids out. In fact, he had 2 JV teams this year and competed. So looking forward for that program to make the playoffs next year, make a run. I mean, this year, once again, they were in pretty much every game. Lost a couple of close ones here and there, which, as a coach and as Coach Steichen, he said, man, we probably should have won now. I said, you know what? If I could eliminate all the shoulda, woulda, coulda-s, I'd be pretty much undefeated.
You'd be undefeated, wouldn't you? Yeah, that's usually how that goes. So, and then one that falls under the scope of athletics, and I don't think anybody argues these girls work harder than anybody, is the steppers. And more so than the competition side of things, it's the end of an era when it comes to their Coach Smith.
Oh, no doubt. Those girls are there early in the morning. They're before I get there before 7 o'clock, and they're already there. So, yes, they work hard. And Coach Smith, like you said, I mean, she, built a legacy. I mean, she's a legend, And, but, the high stepping program is going to be in good hands. Turning the program over to her niece, Katie Parr. And Katie would do an excellent job for us.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see, because it seems like Katie's the perfect bridge of the classic, but also new. You know what I'm saying? So I really like that, and ready to see how that's going to work out. So excited about that. And then I think that gets us kind of all the spring stuff, if I'm not mistaken. So now we can just go back and just in general our fall and winter, and we'll start it off. I'll go the other way this time. Softball. They started off the season giving us all a lot of excitement, and we're this close to making first state tournament in 20-something years. I mean, it was real close. They hosted, talked to many people that come up, even from the other sports that come up, and had kids that played softball in Ponca City this year, and just absolutely amazed by the facility, the commitment to softball now, and a lot of them saying this is better than anything you can see in the state. So. Just a really big year for softball. I know it fell a little bit short, but they'll be back with vengeance next year.
Oh, no doubt. Coach Freeman come in and did a heck of a job. His staff is intact. That whole staff is coming back this year, his junior high staff, and so there's no replacements there. And continuity is a big thing. Having consistency within the coaching staff is a bonus. You're right. We hosted regional, and like you said, it was. It was just we came up a little short, but
had your bad day at the wrong time.
Right, we graduated several girls who's going on and play some college ball, but nonetheless we still have a good core coming back. Still got a pretty good pitcher coming back who plays a lot of traveling ball. She's probably played in probably 50 games as we speak right now up to this point. So and a lot of those girls do play traveling ball. So it's going to be another. I think it's going to be another great year. And like you mentioned our stadium and our facilities. Our facilities are second to none. The year before, when we could not host any home games, I was traveling to everybody's stadium, and watching our girls play. And there's no other stadium that I went to that's better than ours.
Yeah, well, as a member of the press, I will say it's nice to have a softball stadium with a nice big press box.
Yes, sir.
Because usually, even baseball, Bixby, look what I was doing with the table out there with a tent. In the rain.
Right.
You don't. For me, when I see that stuff, I don't take it for granted.
Right.
When you guys do a good job talking to everybody, saying, "Hey, what do we need from a coach standpoint? What do we need from a grounds crew standpoint? What do we need from a maintenance standpoint? What do we need from a press standpoint?" That all kind of goes into it. And I know you weren't initially in with a lot of that, but you kind of saw that all come to fruition.
Yes, sir. And I remember last year, year before, when we was at Owasso for regionals, where you sat outside. You was outside the press box. They put you out there. So you're right. Probably Owasso probably has maybe the second best stadium compared to us, probably. But you're right. I stepped into a pretty good position where things are being built and being finished up now. But our facilities are great. The indoor facility, can't speak enough for that. That thing's going to be an awesome facility. Definitely going to be put to use by not only our high school teams. I know Little League be reaching out to us and all that. It's just going to be a great place that we can. We got inclement weather going on. We can be indoors practicing.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in a little bit after the sports side of things. So, next thing, football. It was really, truly a transitional year. Now, I don't think we like to look at it that way, but you look at what happened the previous season. Justin Rowland doesn't come in. He's the interim, basically, and then named the full. So it's really his first full season as a head coach to kind of, he's always had an idea of what he wanted to do, but then you're thrown into the fire, and then you really see, and you know that. You have that experience, like every head coach does. I think he got a good vision of what he wants now as the head coach, and he's brought in some more staff to help him with that, and really excited about what next year can bring.
Right. He's brought in a new offense coordinator, and, of course, Coach Rollo, he's still going to run the defense. I was kind of the same way. I could never turn my offense over, but and it's like him. He probably hasn't got that turn it over yet, until maybe he grooms somebody who can take that over.
I would hate to be the OC that was under you. I'd hate to be the DC that's under Justin Rowland because, at that point, you guys have been successful. You're turning it over, but at the same time, you're on that mic too saying, hey, why are we running that right now? That would be a hard position to be in, and like you said, it's hard for coaches to turn that over. We see it in college. It usually doesn't work a lot in college when they do that, but I think you see it in high school work a lot because those guys are out there, and I think defense helps out more than maybe in any other because I think defense being on the field and feeling the energy sometimes in high school balls is important as what the X's and O's are on the other side.
Exactly. You're exactly right. He's got an office coordinator and a couple more new assistants.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be beneficial for him. And, they've been out practicing since Monday spring ball. They have good numbers out. We got, decent size. We got several kids that are about 6'5", so 6'4", 6'5". So I think it's going to be a good year. I think maybe our best years are maybe 2 years away, but who knows? That's not to say, hey, it's like saying, when I took a new job, I came in. You have to plan for that year because those seniors ain't gonna be there next year. You want to get to playoffs with that group of seniors, and if let them lay the foundation.
Yeah, and even if you don't make the playoffs or they don't have the success, that first group of seniors when you take over as head coach is a special group. Now for Justin Rowland, really special because for him, he's been an assistant for so long. But that group, even if they don't have the success maybe you wanted, you certainly let them know and appreciate the fact that you're the guys that I need to lead to lay that foundation for what we can build. And you know what? When you build that and you look back 10 years and you're like, hey, that all started with us, you can really say that. So, it's something special, even though it maybe isn't the wins you wanted.
Right, exactly. And you're right. When Coach Rollo took over as head coach, it's a little bit, he has to wear multiple hats on Friday night. That's not the defense coordinator. Hey, it's 4th down and 1. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Hey, we're down by 2. Are you going to go for 2, or what are you going to do in situations?
There's a problem in the other locker room. Who's the first person they call usually? Is the head coach, right?
That's right.
And then they relay it to you or what? Dealing with referees. You deal with that, but also they're going to do. I mean, there's so many things, the little intricacies I feel like that people don't know. And it goes back to the line I like to use. Coach James Dickey at Oklahoma State under Coach Sutton for a long time. He was a head coach at Texas Tech as well. They asked him, what was it like when you moved over to that head coach? He goes, it's 6 inches away, but 6 inches over, but a whole world away when you take over that head coaching role.
That's true.
So, and we have that also in the basketball realm, and some young talent for sure with Coach Birnbaum and Coach Estrada, and hopefully you're wanting to see some build in those programs as well as both of them. In their second year last year.
Oh, exactly. And you read most of the games. People who came and watched our boys play, they competed really hard. I mean, they played hard. I mean, you could take the Bixby game when we was at Bixby. We're right there, and then all of a sudden Bixby makes 2-3 consecutive three-pointers. Those aren't regular three-pointers. Those things were bombs.
No, yeah, it was.
Those things were
Steph Curry threes.
NBA threes. And, hit some shots when they needed to, but unfortunate for us. But, we do have some young talent. Coach Birnbaum, he probably works harder than anybody I've seen as far as basketball-wise. I've had some good basketball coaches under me when I was at Okema. Kel Simon, he got a great record and won a state championship. But Birnbaum, he works as hard as anybody else. And Coach Estrada, once again, she... of course, had another birth of her boy, but she has a good group of girls returning also. So it's going to be interesting, and like I say, seeing kids grow. I think as a coach, when I was coaching, watching kids grow from year to year, watching them mature, and get better, is really gratification to a coach.
Yeah, another winter sport. There's 2 more to mention, but the other one that I've really fallen in love with since calling for Ponca City's wrestling, and it's once again you kind of have a newer coach. You have a new coach come in and laying that foundation of what he wants to create. And I know would have loved to have got more state qualifiers. We always do, but 6A wrestling's a bloodbath.
Oh, yes.
And it's really, really tough with the people that move in and everything else from other states to be a part of Oklahoma wrestling. So, but once again, he's got some younger guys and some guys coming back and feeling good about next season.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he has really done a super job, and we knew he would. He has a great pedigree, so we knew what we was getting when we hired him. So we knew he was getting a great coach. But yes, he's going to turn that program around, and like I said, hey, we had a few state qualifiers this year, and I think we'll probably double it this year. Just keep getting better. But at the top of that 6A, like you said, it's a juggernaut. It's a juggernaut.
Well, when you look at Edmond North and Stillwater, every other wrestler is a top 20 wrestler. It's kind of tough to compete, isn't it?
Yeah, yes.
So, and we're not talking top 20 in the state. We're talking top 20 in the nation, maybe the world in some cases. So, and that leads kind of the last one to mention. It's also going to be the role that we'll go into the hiring processes and what's going on. But you'll be welcoming a new coach with swimming, and congratulations to Heather Harris and all that she achieved and everything here. But she is moving on, and that leaves a big void to fill for the swimming program, which has made great strides under her.
Exactly, yeah. Whoever we get on hire on that position, they definitely got big shoes to fill. Like you mentioned, Heather has done a great job. We've had state champions the last several years. It's in place. The program's in place. It's in good hands. Whoever takes over, we just got to find that right person, right fit.
Yeah, and like I said, they'll have some big shoes to fill, but that's your job to find that person to fill those shoes, right? So now, I don't want to get into who you're looking at, who you've hired, because all that has to wait on board approval. Right. So it's something that you don't really want to talk about. But talk about the openings that you have and the things that you're looking to fill over the summer heading into the fall semester.
Right. Our top priority was to get a strength and conditioning person in. I believe we found one, depending on board approval. Great young man, going to do a super job for us. he's
And you lost a good one.
We did. We
Lost
lost good ones. And it was like Coach Montano. He came to me one day. He said, "Hey, Coach, I'm going to be leaving." And I said, "Well, as long as you're stepping up on the food chain, you're getting higher, and it's a good job. He's going to be a defense coordinator, and and he has ambition to be a head coach. So you got to step up in those coordinator roles. Like I said, we're going to miss him, but I believe we got a good one that's going to be in place, and he's been trained under Rob Glass, so."
It's not like you don't have a great pipeline
Right.
40 miles down the road in Stillwater with Rob Glass training all of these young guys coming out that need to get their first start. Now, that being said, you may not be able to keep a lot of these guys long when you get them, but man, that is a good pipeline to have for a strength and conditioning
Yes,
coach.
sir, it is definitely. And of course we lost both strength and conditioning. We lost Amy; she's going to Westmore. So we've got two of them there to fill. And with summer projects right around the corner, so whoever they are, they're going to hit the ground running.
Yeah,
So.
and with that, and this is just a question, I'm just going to kind of make it general because I know you can't get into specifics, but when you decide to make that hire, you got to wait on the board approval, which the board meets once a month, right, in the second
Yes,
week.
sir.
But sometimes it's important to get things going, you feel like right away. So what is, like, you feel somebody's role in strength and conditioning maybe more so than any other because they're working with everybody. So you feel that role. Do they have any place with you guys until the board approval, or do they have to wait on that?
Well, fortunately, when we set up interviews for head jobs, head coaches, and strength conditioning, we always, Jennifer Dye, usually we always have one, sometimes two board members on that committee,
Right.
interviewing committee. So that's always a bonus right there. And usually having one of those on there, they kind of, I wouldn't say it's 100% that they're going to improve them, but I mean, having one on there, he can kind of relay to the other ones, hey, he's a great, great one, and
Yeah, you're always
and
pending
so-
background
right,
checks, all that different
right,
stuff. Yeah.
Right. So that's always a bonus.
But when they're in a way a higher and waiting on board approval, are they allowed to do anything yet, or do they have to wait?
we will get our strength conditioning guy in,
Okay.
and doing some stuff because we have some are probably like some of them starting next week, some of them starting June 1st, 2nd. So yes.
All right, yeah, I thought that was maybe important to bring up. So now I want to get into the future a little bit, and I think when it comes to the future, there's only one thing that really sticks out, and that's that indoor facility you alluded to a little bit earlier. I mean, this thing, we talked about it being a game changer. It's here now. It's like from golf simulation to being able to, field balls inside of baseball and softball to football being able to get out of the elements if they need to. Really a game changer and a luxury that not a lot of schools, even a lot of 6A schools have.
Right, that's true. And additional, also a 3-lane track.
Yeah, right.
So it would definitely be utilized to the utmost. I'm sure anytime that of course another role we need to fill is athletic trainer. And those are hard to find. But if we did have an athletic trainer, they could shut us down for the heat.
Right.
But we could go indoors and still practice indoor. So that's a good outlet right there. I mean, to have that right there and like I said a while ago, any inclement weather, we can be indoors practicing. So it's where coaches a lot of times, we can't do anything. We just, hey, we'll lift a little bit and go home. That's about all we do. We can go over stuff on the board, but it's not the same. We can watch film, but it's still, it's not the same of getting the reps in.
Well, and you mentioned the community aspect of it. I mean, you're open, you said, Little League, saying, hey, let's get something going in there.
Right.
I mean, that's something that's important is the community aspect, and this thing can be utilized not just by community members that are part of the school, but community members that are here, like you said, maybe wanting to get out of the element and do a little league practice or something.
Right, and even the wrestling coaches have talked about hosting tournaments in there.
Wow.
Put about 8 mats in there in the summertime.
Yeah.
'Cause, anything you go to AAU, basically you have to bring your own chair anyway.
Yeah, right.
So and that would be great also. So it's a chance that maybe we can have a little revenue also.
Yeah, no, that's even better when you can
Right.
add that to it. And I know you got kind of the turf on the outside as well. That's going to be utilized too, right?
Right. Yes. It's a multi-purpose field. Where it'd be great for soccer because
That turf's kind of geared towards soccer, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. And having two fields will get teams in and out here. More teams will have the. I would say they would more likely come to Ponca to play us if they knew there was two fields and boys could be on one field, girls be on one field, and be up there for 2.5 hours to come home. Where if you go JV girls, JV boys, varsity and varsity girls, boys, you're saying here 5 hours to 6 hours.
Well, another thing I think as a coach, when you coach baseball, football, so you understand when you're in those cold months and you ask those kids to go out in the elements, they'll go, and you'll have a few that will be like, okay, but there's some that you just don't get your best out of them. You just don't get a good practice. I mean, and I think you really see it in baseball and things like that, but I think you see it in football as well. Being able to say, okay, we're eliminating that, we're getting out of the elements, we can go have a good practice in here. Right. I think that's going to make a huge difference.
Definitely, and you've seen it happen. You could be practicing in the cold all week long, and then when you play that quarterfinal or semifinal game, it's 6 degrees outside. It has no.
Or it can be 80 all week, and all of a sudden it's snowing. So that's the only thing. Maybe in the future you add the climate control where you can get it to like 30 degrees. Because, I mean, it is, like you said, in Oklahoma. And this year, if you could have had that thing, it would have been really utilized in the spring because we had so much rain in April.
Definitely. We did. We were hammered with rain. So and still getting a little rain here in May. So, but, like I told people, you can't complain about the rain because here in June, July, when we don't have the rain for about 45 days in this 100, we want some rain.
Yeah. So, and the next sport to start everything is always softball. So you'll have Summer Pride coming up. Softball will start things in mid-July with what they do and Coach Freeman. Anything else we need to get into? Like, what do you look at that's maybe we talked about coaching hours, talked about the new facility. What do you look as the AD and say we need next? What's the next step?
Well, we've been trying to get with coaches getting with the negotiating committee. Of some of them want more coaches in their sport. And all that's through negotiations. So I said, well, you got to reach out to them when they send emails out. Say, hey, you have anything you want us to consider? Hey, voice those opinions. And one other thing we didn't touch on, Jordan, was tennis.
Yeah, tennis. Let's
we had state qualifiers, doubles in boys and girls, and they did well. Competed real well. So and Coach Callenbach does a super job.
Yeah, the first year taking over both the boys and the girls and trying to kind of make it all one and solidify the same habits and everything else. So it's kind of a transition year in a way for tennis in a big way, kind of all coming under one umbrella.
Right, because they had to move all their practices to the country club.
Yeah.
And really didn't have much time to practice on our own courts before we had tournaments on there.
Yeah, I was going to say it wasn't even a home court by the way they practice, right? Exactly. So I mean, so they're going to get a full contingent under there for next year.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and it's once again, it's second to none facility wise. I mean, when they passed those bonds and whoever the architect was, I mean, it was I know Adam and Jason, they had a lot to do with it, and the board. But they really put together some nice facilities for
and like I said, calling games get to travel to a lot of schools, and I've done small class. I've done everything from playing Class C all the way to 6A, and Ponca can hold their head high. When I say you look at the other facilities that are out there, and the fact that you've added an indoor, look at what tennis is doing, look at baseball now with what they have, look at softball with what they have. It is impressive that Ponca City, which the town itself sometimes gets this motto of a decaying town from outside people, not the people that live here that love it. It gets that motto. But to see what is going on here within town and within the school and how it's building and has facilities as good as anybody in the state, that is impressive, and that's a statement.
Definitely, no doubt.
So
Something to be proud of.
yes, it is something for the community to be really proud of. Coach, anything else before we let you go here?
No, sir.
All right. Well, sometime during the summer, we're going to get our new strength and conditioning coach in here and talk to him, pending that board approval. But this is going to be the last one for the semester. I want to say thanks to all of Ponca's coaches for their hospitality to me this year. Thank you, Coach, as well, for everything you've done, helping me out, and friendship and much more. Thanks to Chris behind our camera all year long, and thanks to all the people in administration and people behind the scenes. A good one to bring up is Ashley, what she does for me all the time with athletics, and I know what she does for you is big as well. So appreciate all them, and looking forward to the 25-26 year, which will be here before you know it. But until then, have yourself a great summer, and until next time, go Cats.